Okay, so where do I start? Then eat something, Mama. Anyway, I'm gonna put y'all right here. I did it like fudge nuggets. Okay. I think that hit my bone. Ow. Okay. Us people with ADHD, you know exactly who I'm talking to. You can't tell yourself that you just embarrass yourself whenever, like, you're in a classroom and you're doing your project or whatever, portfolio, and then you have to read out in front of classroom, right? And you think you embarrassed yourself because you didn't do as good as everyone else. Okay, look, people without ADHD will never understand the struggle that us folks with ADHD have. Because we struggle with simple things sometimes, and then we're like that with some hard crap that no one else would understand. We're confusing people. But, I mean, that's how I was going throughout school. Like, I would struggle with the simplest of tasks. Everybody else would, like, go through it just like that, and I would be stuck over here trying to figure out 1 + 1. Like, I knew that, but because I was really good at math. But, like, that's basically what I went through. I tried to do the simplest crap, and then I overthought. I was overthinking it. I was overthinking it all. And then, you know, I ended up spending 3+ more hours on something that I didn't need to spend 3+ more hours on, because I was overthinking it. And, you know, I was thinking, maybe it's like this way, or maybe it's that way. And then I would ask the teacher like 18 billion times, so what are we supposed to be doing? Because I would forget. And, it's just, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Anyway, so we struggle with, what'd you say? Yes, ma'am. We struggle with the simplest of tasks sometimes, and we overthink. Yes, ma'am. We overthink a lot. That is my problem. I don't just overthink with like schoolwork and all that. I overthink with everyday things. Like, I overthink with a lot. And I mean, I've gotten better, of course. I've gotten better over the years. But it used to be like bad. Cause, you know, I was doing something, and then, you know, I'd get off task real fast. And I would get in trouble all the time. I'd get written up, and I would always, like, in EA Herald, in my old elementary school, I always got U's and N's. That's like the lowest grade. You have E's, you have, no, E's are for excellent, then you have S for satisfactory, then U for unsatisfactory, and then N for non, I don't understand what N, but I used to get U's and N's a lot because I wasn't able to focus. I was super hyper, and, you know, I'd get very frustrated because I didn't know how to do something. I'd lash out at someone else, or you know, I'd disrespect somebody somehow, and I get frustrated with myself. And everyone else had an E and a happy face, and they were all on green while I was on red. And I got red every single day throughout my entire elementary school experience. And, you know, I've never failed a grade. Thank God. I've never failed. And the only reason why I didn't fail was because I did not give up. I wasn't going to give up because, you know, I had a tough time. I was a very, very, very stubborn, determined, headstrong girl. And I was not going to give up just because I had a difficult time. See, the kids around me, they were going through stuff real easily, but whenever they hit a bump, they give up. And that was not the case with me. And I hit all of the bumps in the world. So, I mean, I'm not saying that I hated my ADHD, because I am thankful for it, because it toughened me up as a kid, because I hit a bunch of roadblocks, you know, and if I was one of those kids that was super smart and always got an A, and then I hit a road bump and I'm just like, whoa, hold up. What was that? And I just like completely give up. See, that wasn't the case with me, and I'm actually very happy about that. And like the way I was raised is to never sway in your beliefs, and, you know, always believe what you believe. And I mean, I grew up with that, so I'm very, very, like I said, I'm very stubborn, I'm very determined, I'm very headstrong in my beliefs and in what I do. And not a lot of people can sway my opinion. Not a lot of people have ever done that. Unless they had like cold hard facts. And as I grew up, you know, I had like different types of medicine. At one point, you know, the medicine, it just didn't work at all. And then, you know, there's this medicine that I was basically a zombie. I was walking around the house like, I didn't eat, I didn't sleep very well. I was just like, it was it looked like I was depressed. And then, you know, now I have the type of medicine that would keep me focused, and, you know, it wouldn't wear off too quickly. It wouldn't keep me down in the dumps. It's right there where I need it, you know? And then I think it was like, it was a while ago, but they just completely cut me off of my medicine. And that's something that I've been taking for over 10 years of my life, and they just decided to cut it off for some reason. And then I found out that some kids, or just kids in general, teenagers in general, they were having like opioid addictions, and they just decided to cut off all of medicine. Like they decided to just cut it all off, even though I didn't have an opioid. I mean, yes, it was a drug, but it wasn't an opioid. And I started having these withdrawals. And at first, like the first couple days or the first couple weeks, I was like, okay, my back kind of hurts, because I stopped taking my medicine that I've been taking for over 10 years of my life. And like twice a day, every single day, I've been taking them. And my back started hurting at first, so it was like kind of like, ow, but not really. And then we got like a month into it, and my back was hurting, and it was like horrible. And my legs were hurting, and I couldn't sleep. I was like, I can't eat. I could not focus in school. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh. And I could not focus. Like, it was horrible. And then, like, it was almost a month or two. And I want to say 3, but I don't think it was 3 months. I think it was like a month or two. At the very, very end of it, whenever I was like, okay, we have got to get this fixed. I cannot do this. I was like screaming in pain, and it was horrible. I was like almost throwing up. It was so bad. Yeah, I was throwing up. And it was like, I can't take this. I've tried. I took like so much pain medication, and it was so bad. And then we went to the doctors, and they were like, yeah, they just decided to cut it off because everyone was having an opioid addiction problem. And they just decided to cut off all the medicine because kids were going to school and they were selling their medicine for money. And, that's not good. So then I found out that I was taking too much medicine. So that's why I was having, like nightmares, or not really, they're not really nightmares, they're called night terrors. It's basically a hallucination. No, I'm not taking those types of drugs. It's just regular ADHD medicine, Focalin and Tuniv, and Tuniv boosts the Focalin. But apparently I was taking too much, and it didn't mess with any of my organs or anything. It didn't mess me up or anything. It was just I was taking too much, so that's why I couldn't sleep very well. And so they lowered my dosage, and I mean, I'm sleeping a lot better now. But yeah, that's great. Anyway, back to the subject. People that don't have ADHD would never understand the everyday struggles that people with ADHD go through. So if you have ADHD, you can't look at yourself and be like, wow, I'm not as smart as them, because you are very smart and you have a bunch of potential. Because, I mean, I didn't figure that out until now, like, until college, because I started saying these things to my classrooms, and they were like, oh, hold up, slow down. And I was giving them all these possibilities and everything, and, I used to think that I was overthinking whenever I did that. Whenever I put out all the possibilities that could happen, and, what could happen, how many possibilities could happen in this situation, how many possibilities can happen in this situation, like, what can happen if this happened, and, there's different ways to solve problems, and, there's a different way you can write paragraphs or whatever. And there's no one is the same. No one thinks alike. We don't have the same brain. We have different thought processes and different memories and different emotions, different feelings, stuff like that. And we have different ways of setting off our cognitive ability. Like, I mean, I do puzzles because whenever I'm stressed out, I do a puzzle, and it helps. And people are like, you're crazy, you're insane. And I'm like, I'm not. And I complete it upside down, and it's fun to me because I like problem solving. I like solving puzzles. I like solving riddles. I like solving murders, investigations, stuff like that. I like solving stuff like that. And because I've always been like that. I've always been a problem solver. I've always liked helping people. I've always liked figuring out solutions to problems, other people's problems, my problems. I've always been like that. And that's the way I coped with my ADHD. Even now today, whenever I was little, I used to sit outside, and it was another way of like coping with my energy, like all this energy I had inside me. I had to calm down. So I used to go outside and sit in the grass for hours on end looking for a 4-leaf clover. And I still do that today. And although I do not know why, but I think it helped me zone in, like, and it helped me focus. It helped me with my focusing, because, I would sit out there in the waiting line waiting for my mom to come pick me up or my dad to come pick me up. And I would just sit out there and look at the ground, and the teachers would stare at me and the students would stare at me, and they're probably thinking in their head, what is she doing? If I didn't do that, I would probably be like all over the place, walking back and forth, pacing up and down the sidewalk, waiting on my mom. You good, Mama? You okay? Mom, drink some water. Mama, drink some water. You good? Because I know you're fine. Just drink some water. I'm not a jerk. I know whenever people are choking, Mom. I can tell whenever it's real and it's fake. Anyway, I'm not a jerk. I'm just smarter than you think I am. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I would just sit there for hours on end trying to find a 4-leaf clover. And I think that like helped me zone in, and just like, it would help me focus on one thing. And plus it was like, I don't know. And it helped me to become more observant over time. And I don't know. And I still do it today. And I have a 2,000-piece puzzle that I'm completing at the moment. It's of New York Times Square. And, yeah. And I... Anyway, point blank, if you have ADHD, don't give up on something, and don't say you just embarrassed yourself in front of your classroom, because you went out there and you did the best of your abilities and you didn't give up. Okay? And you can't tell yourself that, that sucked and it's not as good as everyone else's, because guess what? They are probably looking at you. The ones that feel like they didn't do a good job, they're probably looking at yours and saying, I didn't do that good. Mine sucked too. Because I tend to put a bunch of detail in things that I do. I put like every single detail and why this happened, and the things that happened in order to make that happen, and then why those things happened in order to make that happen, and that's what I do with things. And I tell myself, I put too much detail in there, oh my gosh, I'm gonna embarrass myself, blah 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 blah. No, I don't look at it like that anymore. I look at it as I did my best, I tried my hardest, and whatever the outcome is of this, I know that I did my best and I didn't give up. I could have easily. I could have given up. I could have just made a 70 on that, and it's whatever. But I didn't do that. I'm not gonna do that. And I'm a procrastinator whenever it comes to things sometimes, and that's 100% on me. But I man up, I do the work, and sometimes it's not as good as other people's, and I know that it's not going to be as good as other people's because I don't have the same thought process. I'm not as like as other people. It takes me a while to get started. And whenever I get started, I'm like, okay. But, and I have a hard time with ending things, But, I mean, over time, that'll get better. And if you're in school right now and you're having a hard time, you're struggling with things and you have ADHD, it's okay. Don't hate your ADHD. You'll learn to love the fact that you've had ADHD or you have ADHD as you grow up, because it'll help you with things that you never even expected to help you with. And I want to be either a marine biologist or a forensic scientist because I love animals, but I really like problem solving, solving murders, homicides, the way someone died, if they OD'd or if they, stuff like that. I feel like that would be a great career for me. But I want to let you know that you're not the only person with ADHD. There's hundreds and thousands of others that have ADHD, but you can't single yourself out whenever if you do have ADHD. You can't single yourself out saying like, oh, I didn't do as good as other people. You can't do that, because if you did the best you could, and you can't just give up. Never give up. Don't give up. Okay? And also, I'm kind of bad whenever it comes to time management. So I heard something a while ago on a video, and it was of this dude's dad. He told him, he left every single day early, and he was like, Dad, why are you leaving so early? And then his dad told him, well, son, I'd rather be an hour early than a minute late. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty good. And so I kind of live by that. I leave very, very early because, traffic, there might be a wreck, and, you might have to drive around that, and it might take you an extra 20 minutes than you expected. And, that would be a good thing to live by. Wake up an hour early than you usually do, and then get ready and leave an hour early after you get everything done, and then head out the door. There might be a wreck, there might be a crime scene there, you never know, and there might be a backup because somebody's going super slow, or somebody has a trailer and it's kind of broken down, or the train happens to come by as soon as you get there and you have to wait an extra 10 minutes. And I'm just saying, like, the things that I do help me cope with my ADHD, and I still do have a hard time. I'm not gonna say that it's the easiest thing. It's not. It's not gonna get like super easy to where you're like other people without ADHD. It's gonna be hard sometimes. And even whenever you're grown and you're 30 years old, you're still gonna have those little blips. It's not gonna go away, but it will get better. So all I'm saying is never give up, okay? And you are unique, okay? And you need to tell yourself, I can do better. I can try to do better. I can do this. And, you got to build that up. You can't say, I can't do this, and, I don't know how, and I can't do that, and blah, blah, blah. You can't do that, because that's a negative mindset. You can't have a negative mindset. You have to have a positive mindset. And in order to have a positive mindset, you have to tell yourself, you know, I can do this. I'm going to try better. You know, yeah, that was a little bad, but you know what? I'm not dead yet. I can do this better. I can try. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And that'll give you the positive mindset that you need. Because if you have a negative mindset saying, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, you're just breaking yourself down and you're setting yourself up for failure. You can't do that. You have to be like, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try harder. You know, even though that was sucky and that was probably going to be a 50, I'm going to do harder. I'm going to work hard. Okay? You got to give yourself that positive mindset. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm not gonna put myself down to that level. I'm not gonna. You gotta boost your self-esteem, and you gotta boost your courage, and you gotta boost that, okay? Because people with ADHD, they overthink and they do this and they do that and they think they're doing something wrong, but you can't let that learning disability debilitate you. You can't let the learning disability debilitate your positive mindset. You can't do that. Yes, it's a learning disability, but you can't be like, oh, I can't do that because of my learning disability. Oh, I can't do that because I have a learning disability. Oh, I can't do that. I used to do that to myself, and it sucked, and I've made horrible grades, but whenever I started to say, you know what, I can do this, I'm smarter than I think I am, I'm gonna try harder, I started making better grades, and of course, like, I was on better medicine then, but, you know, sometimes I didn't take my medicine, and I did a great job, and I had a great day that day, and, you know, sometimes I don't take my medicine, and sometimes I have a bad day, but, you know, that's what positive mindset does. It helps you. And that's with, like, anybody. You need to have a positive mindset. You can't have that negative mindset. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Jesus loves you. Bye-bye.